you get called by the Eagles. What was it like just after a couple of days being released by the team?
I was excited, especially since I get to jump in this opener. I'm excited about that, very excited about that.
You knew going into that last preseason game that things were kind of dicey. So what was it like those 48, 72 hours of just not knowing what was going to happen, and then to end up being here after all?
I mean, honestly, when I went home, I was at home. That's what my mind was. I have kids, I have a family, so I try not to bring work home with me. So when I'm at home, my kids, I got the call. Obviously, I was excited, jump back on the plane.
How much does it help that it's not a new team, it's a team that you were with throughout the entire preseason instead of having to go and learn a new offense in a locker room and all those characteristics?
That makes it that much more easy to jump back into it, especially for this opener. I don't have to go to a new team and try to pick up, the playbook and get to know the guys, get to know the quarterback and all that stuff. So that made it a lot easier for me, to jump back on the plane and get the ball rolling.
Does it make it easier to kind of put the disappointment of training camp and the preseason aside to say, you know what, you're fully healthy, you've got a fresh start, and you're going to be on this team?
I mean, I wouldn't call it a disappointment. Even though I was off the field for a couple weeks, I continued to grow, whether it's mentally or whatever. I was in the playbook, I was with the quarterbacks, continue to learn. So I wouldn't call it a disappointment at all. I think when I came back, I'm going to just continue, pick up where I left off and try to continue to grow from there.
So Mac's out, Alshon's out. You're definitely going to be in the mix there on Thursday night. How important is it to have that veteran presence in there with it being such a big game to start the season?
I'm not sure how important it is, but I know we have guys that are willing and able to get the job done, and to be a part of that with those guys is super exciting for me, So I'm excited to get in there with these guys. I'm gonna help out where I can, and hopefully I can get a few plays.
What's the chemistry like with Nick going into the game?
I've been out for a couple weeks. I played in that last game, had Smoking Joe.
Smoking Joe, that's a good one. Son.
Had Smoking Joe. Smoking Joe did his thing, but the chemistry is not where it needs to be. But it's definitely something that we'll work on. We'll continue to work on this week, next week, and as long as I'm here.
The big thing with him is he'll put the ball out for you guys. How key is that for someone like yourself who has that deep speed to get over top of a defense?
It's huge. It's huge. He's a guy that can sling it, and I'm sure Mike Wallace is extremely excited about that, as well as myself, as well as Nelson Aguilar. All those guys that can run. So we're excited to see how it plays out.
Do you view this as a second chance?
I don't know if you want to call it a second, or third, or fourth. It's a crazy game. People leave, people come back. People get hurt, people get cut, people come back and blow up. A lot of things happen. It's a crazy business. So I wouldn't call it a second chance.
But you call it a chance.
It's an opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity for sure, and it's an opportunity that I plan on capitalizing on.
Because eventually Alshon and Mac are going to be healthy again.
I'm sure Alshon will come back, full speed. I'm sure Mac will come back full speed, and we'll see what happens from there.
So what happens between now and then could mean a lot to you.
Absolutely. But going into it, I don't think about that at all. I see an opportunity, I go do what I can. If they decide to let me go when those guys come back, then they'll let me go. And then we'll see what happens from there. But that's way down the road, and I'm not thinking about that at all.
Does that mindset come from the experience of having been through the highs and the lows of this career?
I think it comes from being in this business, and seeing, even through my first couple years, I was with Pittsburgh, and I had a little bit more security at the time, just seeing how people get cut, how people go through the process, the business side of this business, and kind of understanding it a little bit more.